I got a comment from this 34-year-old guy who has been single his whole life. And he finally got a chance to go on a date. And he was apparently a little bit nervous to go on that date, didn't expect too much, because when you're single for a long time, you're not usually holding your breath about how things are gonna go. But he went on that date, and then he informed me that the date went actually pretty well. The girl laughed at his jokes, even though he thought those jokes weren't that good. Even though he thought that he was acting a little bit too cool, a little bit too stoic, but nevertheless. And I was, of course, very happy to hear that, as somebody who was single for a long time myself before I found my girlfriend. But then, only a couple of days later, he updated his situation and replied to me in the comments that things seem to have gone south, so to speak. The girl did not reply to his text message, and it seemed like the girl wasn't into him anymore. And I was a little bit confused. How can you go from having something good between you for 4 months at a local store, being goofballs as he described it, then have a date that's actually a decent date? And in fact, the girl was the one who asked for his number at the store. How can you go from that and then have everything ruined just a couple days later? Well, I asked him for some more clarification in the comments, and he did provide me with it. So I wanted to share this story and take a look at what's going on. And I read through the comments once again, and here's what I immediately noticed now that I looked at it later. Even before the date, he actually said that he is a little bit scared of going too fast and actually liking her a lot. At the time, I told him that's understandable, that's normal. You've been single for your whole life, 34 years old. But when I thought about it, knowing what happened afterwards, that is probably actually the first sign of self-sabotage. Because if you're going on a date with a girl you're into and your first thoughts are that, oh, what if this is gonna go too fast? What if I'm gonna like her too much? What if? That's bad news. That's a headspace you don't wanna be in. And then when he actually came back from the date, he told me, oh, I was probably too cool. I was probably acting too stoic. And now in hindsight, as an outsider, it's pretty easy to see the insecurity coming out of this guy, isn't it? And then pretty soon he told me that he told some kind of a joke to the girl because the girl had stopped texting him. And then it seemed like the girl took the joke kind of wrong and did not respond anything to it. Just read the message and didn't say anything to him. And this is where the guy said, I must have screwed it up at the date. It must have been because I was too cool and too stoic on the date. And this is where he essentially gave up already. So there's a couple of things here going on, in my opinion, as somebody who actually has anxious attachment style. If you're not familiar with attachment styles, I would suggest you look them up because it's really quite eye-opening to figure out which one you have. And not only that, but I've always been an overthinker. I have been a very shy guy when I was younger, very reserved, very much an introvert. Maybe you can't believe it because I'm making these videos now, but if you saw me, dude, I was so awkward. And when it came to women, this is what happens to a lot of guys. We can be in work meetings, we can go out and about and function like normal people, but then when there is a girl who we are into, we become these weird, awkward, almost pathetic shadows of ourselves. We start overthinking, we start coming up with narratives in our heads, and that's what I believe happened with this guy. Because here's what I would do if I could be in his shoes and go back in time and do this all over again. And let me know in the comments, what do you think? What do you think this is about, and what would you have done differently? Because here's what I would have done, based on my own experience. On the first date, I would have asked for another date already. This is something that happened with my girlfriend, actually. We met at a medieval festival. We saw each other 1 week later, and there I already asked her, are you free next weekend? Because I wanted to see her as soon as possible again in real life, because I knew that texting is the killer of relationships. It depends on the person, but I'm generalizing here. And the reason why I say this is that you cannot read the other person's mood through text. This has caused a couple of conflicts in my own relationship. I have said something and it has sounded the wrong way, somehow cold or dismissive or whatever. And my girlfriend has gotten upset about it because she has thought that my reaction or I am being, cold or dismissive or whatever it may be. The vibe through text has been negative, even though in real life there has been no issue. And I have never made any bigger drama out of those situations because I know that whenever something like this happens, like in this guy's case, the girl did not react to his text message the way he was hoping, the way he was imagining. That has nothing to do with the truth. You have no idea if the girl on the other side is smiling, or if I on the other side was smiling when my girlfriend was texting with me. In real life, there would be absolutely no issue because you would be able to feel and read the actual vibe and atmosphere and reaction of the other person. So therefore, in my estimation, what happened in this guy's case is that he's an anxious overthinker, such as I used to be. Especially when you're single for a long time, you tend to be like that. And even before the date began, he was already self-sabotaging. Saying things like, I'm afraid it's going to go too fast. I'm scared I'm going to like her too much. In other words, I am scared to death by rejection. This is a classic case of being so scared of being rejected that you actually reject yourself. You come up with a narrative in your head that justifies ending things. Like in this case, he did not ask the girl what she thinks, what's going on. He got no clear rejection. He was not rejected, but in his head, it was the perfect excuse to avoid rejection. Just let things slowly die in silence. Don't go to the store anymore. Don't see the girl anymore. And you will not even get rejected. You don't have to be afraid anymore. And in these cases, you don't actually think like this. This is happening subconsciously. And this is something I believe happened with me in the past, by the way. I was texting to a lot of girls who lived very far away, literally in other countries, even though I did not have the financial means. And during COVID, it was just impossible to even travel abroad to see and meet these girls. I believe in hindsight that I was actually avoiding the risk, the chance of getting into a real relationship because I was afraid of rejection. So that's my take on this. And I wish I could have helped this guy earlier because ultimately, in my opinion, if you get on a date, you have to agree on another date immediately because you have to see the other person as soon as possible. And in this case, maybe he could have just not texted her and he could have gone to the store to see her in real life and then asked for another date. So as I said, please let me know in the comments what you think because I am no guru with this stuff. This is just what I came up with when I was thinking about my own past, my own experiences, having been an anxious guy, literally with an anxious attachment style, and then looking at this guy and kind of seeing myself like a mirror, like looking at the former self that I used to be. And the last thing I do want to mention about the texting thing, I have seen online advice for men that you should not be too needy, so you should not text women too much. You should appear mysterious. And then at the same time, I have seen women advise other women that you should not text a guy too much because you should make a guy chase you. So if you're somebody who lacks real life experience and you listen to YouTube videos and then you believe what you hear, like I actually did this thing in the past until I realized that it's nonsense. But if you're a guy and you are mysterious to a girl who doesn't even care about you yet, they're just gonna move on to the next guy. On dating apps especially, but even outside of dating apps, women tend to have a lot of game. You probably have zero game. So if you disappear on a girl, she's just gonna move on immediately because she can, but you can't. And that's gonna make you desperate. That's gonna make you pathetic. That's what I was. I'm not saying that this guy is, but dude, if you saw me in my 20s, if you saw how I behaved when I did not get attention from a girl who I was into, it was so humiliating. But since I said it's nonsense, well, here's my opinion what you should actually do. You should be yourself with your flaws and everything. When we go on a date, of course, we are usually gonna be more cold and stoic than we really are. I'm a total goofball. I am ridiculously cute with my girlfriend. Like, it's ridiculous. If you saw me with my girlfriend, you would think, what the hell happened to this guy? But when I first met her, for the few first times, I was not the way I am with her now. I was acting all cool and stoic. It's normal. So that's one thing. But then when it comes to the texting, a woman that is a person, first and foremost, is going to respect the fact that you are vulnerable. If you show a girl that you are into her because you are not afraid of rejection, that makes you a badass. If you're trying to play games and she can sense it pretty damn fast, she will lose respect for you. And if you're into a girl and you're not texting her because you try to play some kind of a game, here's what's gonna happen to you. You are craving for connection with her. So when you try not to text her, you are actually becoming miserable and desperate. And that enhances and amplifies all the thoughts you have in your head about how she doesn't care about you. It just screws up everything. But if you're just honest, like I was, when I started texting with my girlfriend, we just texted each other all the time. And then I let her know that I want to see her soon. And I even told her when she said something like, please promise to me to be my friend next summer so that we can do a lot of things together in the summer. She didn't mean that she's gonna friend zone me, but I immediately responded to that, well, I'm sorry, but I don't want to be friends with somebody I'm attracted to. And then we continued texting and seeing each other as soon as possible. And the rest is history. That was probably the first time I was actually honest with a girl. And look where it led me. Together almost 3 years. Although, to be fair, it's also because she enabled me. She allowed me to be my true self, really. It was easier with her. I didn't feel afraid to be myself because she felt safe. So there are differences there too. But anyway, I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, please leave a like and consider subscribing. Last week I skipped making one video because I wanted to make this video a little bit better. I wanted to try to tell this story and make all the points, so I took some extra time and I was busy and all the other excuses. But usually I try to make one video per week. So hopefully I will see you next week. Thank you for watching and bye-bye.